Yeah. Oh, that's
Okay, we're live.
Okay.
That's good.
First to number one at least.
Yeah.
Val, did you turn that on?
No, it is not on.
Okay.
It's also not 7 o'clock, so you tell me.
No, I just,
when it's on.
I'd rather not wait until 7.
Well,
Find
he's
out.
That's
for him.
wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, doesn't need the
That way people can sit down and get their popcorn.
dialogue.
Sounds good.
Oh, really?
They just came back last week. She agreed to do the search.
Did anybody know if Tom was planning to come? I had not heard anything about her.
You've got 3 minutes.
How
about Dave?
No, Dave cannot attend.
Pardon me?
Dave's out of town on business. Poor Dave's working full time.
4 days.
Well, no, he's not poor. He's working full time. He's working out of his house now, but once construction starts on the factory, he'll be down there. In Trapline. As is Mr. Eric. Back to working.
Just
in
working for a
Trapline.
living thing.
Yeah.
Man.
That's into
Not
your.
5 days a week though, is it?
That's in your fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drag, man.
That's why I can't get out of the
I'm
water.
feeling it for
you.
Well, yeah, you think.
Cindy, you were driving the other night. We had no idea what was going on.
What?
Carter was driving the boat and she just cannot get it into reverse. We saw this boat coming. It was like slow mo.
Yeah.
And I said, Carter, I don't think they're turning. Because I thought you guys were just like, talking
Yeah,
and didn't see us there. So she's trying to get in reverse and I was yelling at her. And she's just like wigging out. So as usual, the poison made a spectacle of things.
Are you suggesting we need speed bumps on the lake?
I'm just telling her to put it in reverse.
I suggested this, why don't you?
Yeah.
You do realize she's probably listening to everything you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Right now it's 2 glasses of wine and you're watching the sunset. Remember what Warren Lee used to say?
You're safe for a minute.
5 o'clock.
But Patrick, remember, they can go back and look at this and keep them up.
We haven't put anything out. Okay.
I was with the survey and.
Okay. Oh, I remember that, but I wasn't sure they were.
We've done that before. It just makes sense. All right.
Well, I don't think it's a reason we.
You can bring in a local business.
I think it's white here. Every bit of it.
Oh, see, I told you, he had 3 minutes. He's got
I don't want
1.5.
to open forum, that's it. Bring it.
He's got 3
No, you're not late yet.
Finally
Yes.
got my hip problem figured out.
All set? Okay. All right, it is 7 o'clock. We are on, and I call this May 16th, 2017 meeting of the Hideaway Hills Board of Trustees to order. And let the record show that all board members are present except Dave Miller, who is excused. I would ask that anybody has a cell phone like me, turn your cell phone off now, please, or put them on vibrate. Before we adopt the agenda, I just want to make one clarification. There was some misinformation. Somebody thought we were going to be talking about lots over on Wyandotte that are up for sale. We are not talking about those tonight, either in the open session or in the executive session. That is not what is on the agenda. So you guys are welcome to stay, but if that's why you're here, one gentleman was interested in that. You're welcome to stay, but that is not going to be discussed at all. With that, I would ask if I can have a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Ginger Reed, and a second by Linda Lonsinger. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is passed. Okay. In terms of the president's report, probably the most important thing to talk about right now is we have the lake back, and we have a lot of people on the lake. We have some new people on the lake, is the boating safety rules. And I'm gonna ask the Lakes Committee to put together a very short form, because the rules, if you look in the rules, maybe a page and a half, and some people don't want to do that. I want to have them get it down to the most important ones, obviously going in the counterclockwise motion, speed, drinking, whatever. But the most important one, a few years back, those of you who've been around, remember we had a bad tragedy on Lake of the Four Seasons. And it came from somebody riding on the front of a pontoon boat. That fence is up there for a reason, folks. Do not let anybody ride on the front of a pontoon boat. Wake, anything can happen, and if you fall off the front of a pontoon when it's going, there's no way to escape that motor when it comes at you, and it's so quick that the driver can't do a thing about it. So I would ask people to pay attention to that one. And while we're talking about safety, again, with weekenders here, many more kids here, kids out of school, watch it on the road. It's getting a little bit dicey out there on some curves. People come around, forget the speed limit. And the last thing I would mention, again, it's all about safety tonight, is that the ORV committee has their second rules for young drivers meeting on the 27th at 9 o'clock down at the shelter house. And any driver under 16 has got to, with their parents, has got to listen to the rules. And the parents have to sign a waiver that says they have listened to the rules and they know what it's all about, and they get a sticker for their cart, and we'll give them more than one sticker. They've got 2 off-road vehicles. We want them to have fun. We want them to do it safe. With that, I will shut up tonight. Mr. Secretary, do we have any correspondence to read?
We do. To preface this, remember we made a donation from Activities for Youth Committee funds to make a donation to the Canal Winchester Area Historical Society. And we received a letter from them on May 1st on behalf of the Canal Winchester Area Historical Society and its board of trustees. I would like to express our sincere appreciation of your gift of $50 for the Historical Society's programs and projects for the use of the bunny costume. It is only with the assistance of those such as yourself that the Historical Society can accomplish its goals, and we're certainly thankful for your support. The Canal Winchester Area Historical Society is a 501c3 tax-exempt corporation, and as such, your gift is tax deductible to the extent allowed by law. This letter may be used as confirmation for the receipt of that donation.
Anything else?
Nope, I don't think so.
And if anybody doesn't know, we use the bunny costume on Easter, the activities for youth. And it works out very well. All right, with that, I'd ask, will somebody make a motion to approve the minutes of the April 19th regular board meeting?
I'll make that.
Edward Floyd made the motion, seconded by Eric Black. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion is passed. Now we move on to the treasurer's report. Ginger?
Balance in the Benton County Bank at this time for the committee funds is $54,508.21. That was at the end of April. And the April financials are late this month due to the fact that we needed to get the outstanding checks cleared up. So we don't have any report for you this month.
Except the one you handed out.
Except the committee funds, right, but we don't have the financials for highway.
Okay. We have a motion, well, Ginger's making the motion to accept the committee, financial report on the committees. Anyone second? Tom Matthews. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is passed. And now the management committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Tassin. For the May 16th meeting, I'd like to report that the lake is open. People are on the lake, people are enjoying the lake. It's wonderful. I want to thank all the people who were part of the dedication to that whole activity. I thought that was a great kickoff for all of us. Postponing it a day, I think, was able a lot more people to come, and it was really a good experience. I enjoyed it. And of course, I was very grateful for the plaque I received. You involved in that. Thank you very much. It meant a lot to me. With the lake right now, we have scheduled, ODNR is coming in on May 31, and they'll be doing a review of all of our lakes. And as part of this, we expect to be certified that our project is finished as is. We don't anticipate any issues. There's a few things that they will probably, all the things that we need to still do are scheduled, being scheduled to be done, the piezometers, and then certainly we're going to have a little more work on the erosion. The grass is coming in, it looks nice, the dam, the spillway are working perfect.
Jim, you said ODNR is coming in to review the lakes. You meant to say they're reviewing the dams.
Yes, the dams on all 5 lakes. They will be here. This is a normal every 5 years, and they decided to incorporate a whole process in, including the Lake of Four Seasons for this year. So that's well on its way. We're still working the issues out on parking on the dam. We need people's patience for a little bit longer, in the sense that we want to make sure that everything's approved by ODNR before we come up with our permanent policies. So at this point, there is no parking on the spillway. We have a railroad, or what you call it, sawhorse up there. Please don't go over there and park, because it's just, I don't want ODNR to come in and see that, and see people parking up there and then have us cause for an objection from them. So we want to be done with all of that. We are using, there is not parking there. You can come bring your people up and drop them off. Or the management committee is looking at some other opportunities, possibly buying a golf cart, which people can use to ferry their family members up and down the hillside, things like that. But we're talking about that right now. We'll finalize those things fairly quickly. The lights have been ordered. They should be coming in fairly soon. Got a little bit of the lead time on them was a little longer than we expected, but it will be coming in. Don't worry about that. Power has been established by South Central. It's on the hill. The porta-johns are there, so it'll be a workout. I think once we get everything accomplished and done, then we'll set up. I know the lake rules will have to be changed, because several of them speak about parking and where it is and what you can do. And I'll talk with Tim Krause, and we'll come up with some, we can work with the Lakes Committee as well to get those things all put together. Like Greg said, we got to have safety on the lake. There were a fair number of people who do not understand no wake. Having a house that's on the no wake zone, I've had people up and down. So I haven't taken to throwing anything or yelling yet, but I think I don't know if the buoys clearly say no wake out there or enough of them yet or not. Did the buoys in yet? Okay. We'll have more parking signs up there. We'll get our act together. This is actually, summer started a little early this year. It's great, but nevertheless. We're still working on the ORV track. I know Chaz Cross and Jim Sigafus are really serious about getting some of the Barrow area incorporated back into the ORV track, and we're looking at how to work with that. We'll probably have a contractor working with them, and we'll be moving some material in there as well. So that's it. I also forgot to mention, North Park remains closed because it's still listed as an EPA disturbed area. I'm meeting with our engineer tomorrow. I'm hoping that we'll be able to open that. We still have to be very careful, because the grass in there is really important for us to be able to not longer be under a permitted site. We need like 70% grass coverage. I don't think we're there, but if we rope it all off and seed it and straw it, then maybe I'll find that out tomorrow and make a recommendation based upon that. The other issue I wanted to talk about is the Food Fund and Fellowship Committee, as you know, has been soliciting donations for the Raise the Deck campaign. Bob Sorrell has come on as a co-chair. He and Kathy Clevenger are working on that. I understand the fundraising is going quite well. I talked to Kathy earlier this week, and she feels they're, I think they're going to be looking at a target list or a target of around $50,000. That's what I keep asking them. And have people to do lots of stuff. So we'll see where that happens. So there'll be more information about that. There's a Facebook page. There's web pages and everything else. We do have some very preliminary drawings that I can share with you. And this puts it together. I think everybody has seen it except Linda and Tom here at the table. But I'll pass these around. Patrick Lynch has been working with Dan Krieger to come up with a new plan. And the plan is, it comes to you in 3 phases. The first phase is on the top, and and second and third, and it's all depending upon our ability to get people to work, volunteer, as well as to contribute money. But we're getting very close. Based upon these drawings, we should be able to go to the structural engineer fairly quickly to make sure everything we're doing is safe and built to code. And once that happens, then we'll do the next steps, which are ordering stuff, pricing it all out. I don't think the phase one there is going to cost a great deal more than what we had estimated earlier, which was on the order of $10,000 to $15,000, all things. And then depending upon how funding comes in, we'll look at phases 2 and 3. Phase 1 is an extension on the current deck. Phase 2 is adding a second lower deck. And phase 3 is putting a seating area out here with a connection down to what's going to be the pool project that the pool committee has proposed. And so that's where we're at with that. Again, I think we should be able to move fairly quickly on that. Again, we're gonna cross the T's and dot the I's. This will be done. And if you look at it, I think it's a very attractive. It won't be long, and we'll have that as soon as those files are way too big to put on the website, because it's actually, those are architectural renderings, so we'll get that out there fairly quickly, so people will be able to see it. And that's that.
Any questions of Jim?
A question. With the no parking on the spillway, is that the top of the spillway itself or the whole blacktop area where you can come
Definitely
down?
not on the spillway itself.
Right.
Thank you for reminding me. We had asked ODNR for permission to put safety bollards up there, so that if you were on that spillway, you didn't topple over the edge. Because if somebody was there late at night and went a little wide, they went down the hill, they would meet a fairly, I think, negative result, to use a euphemism. So these will be reflective. I've gotten that approved. R. Peterson's one of our members who's involved in that business, and he's going to be installing those on top of the dam. And then we'll have our inspection by ODNR. So at this point, there can be no parking on top of where that dam is. First of all, it's dangerous because we don't have the safety duct bollards. I mean, it really, stand up there, it's steep. You can't even, if it's wet, you can't even walk up it. It's bad. You'll be on all fours quickly. So you don't want to come up there. That's for step one. Once those are done, and then after we get everything approved and done, then we can think about whether we would allow handicap parking and the like up on top of that. We're considering that.
So ATVs though can park along the stones on the blacktop that goes around to where the boat launch ramp is, or not? Because I've ridden down there and there's been parking
They
there.
have, but we've been asking them to move.
Okay.
We're asking people to park down below.
Down below for everyone, no matter what you're driving.
Jim, can they park on the blacktop that's leading to the spillway, but not on the concrete, or not at all up there?
I don't think so. That's pretty.
No,
It's just
for
narrow.
clarification.
It's narrow. If you got a good sized pickup or somebody pulling a trailer up there. We looked at whether we wanted to make the roads one way. We don't think we can do that because the corners are tight. And we're just really getting up to speed on that right now, and I think the management committee will be soliciting more opinions on that.
Okay.
I mean, originally, we really do hope that we'll be able to have certainly either handicap parking or whatever on top of the spillway. But let's get these things in place, get those finished, and then we'll review those and try to come up with it. I realize for some folks, it's going to be difficult to walk up the hill, so we're encouraging them to, for some family member to drop them up at the top and then go down. Then the issues raises if both of the couple, if there's a couple and both are there, or it's one person, how do you get that done? So we're still looking at it.
That's what they did before.
It's correct. It's a little steeper than that. But you're right. That's actually what we did before. I mean, we didn't have nearly as much room. Now we've got that big turnaround area. But, I mean, it's a workout. We didn't have any signage up there. People came up there and said, wow, look, I'll just park here. And it's completely rational. I understand that there's no hard feelings here, but we need to get ODNR to give us the check off, and then we'll be ready to go. Everything else is in, the long-term monitoring plan is in, the other issues are all finished. It's just a matter now of having this inspection on May 30th. And Mr. Swetnam and Mr. Patassin and I are going to. Anybody else wants to join us, you're more than welcome.
Jim, what's the definition of a ballot? I mean, I've heard you talk about it.
Oh, that's just like if you drive through downtown Carroll, where they have those plastic things that stick up that are reflective for traffic.
Okay.
So it's going to be sitting.
So it's not a curb of some sort.
No,
it's
we're gonna glue a disc on top of the
Okay.
concrete, and it's going to be 36 or 42 inches high, It's something that actually, if the dam, we'd have a flood, they would bend over and they wouldn't impede or process the water. There'll also be a pin at the bottom that you can take them out if you knew bad weather was coming. But it'll be reflective material and it'll say things like, danger, don't drive down the hill or something. We'll have, stuff on each of them. We're gonna place every 14 feet, it's 140 feet wide, so there'll be like 10 of them up there. So if you, I think that went out on the internet there.
Yeah. Mom, I'll call you later.
So that's what a bollard is.
Okay.
It's that sort of fan-shaped thing that just sticks up.
In that area, by where the blacktop, it seems like we've got room for maybe some additional docks or some places where people can maybe come up and use the porta-john. Is that in the plan at all, or has that been talked about? Because the other thing I was thinking about is somebody gets out on the dock and the boat's not starting. Well, they're kind of blocking, if they had a place to maybe push it over.
Well, they can the other side of the launch.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you want to come in and use the porta-john, you really don't have a spot.
They can park the same spot, just you can only get one boat.
Okay. But it seems like we have room. Would that be an option
To build another dock.
to build just a temporary dock along, right kind of where the blacktop kind of comes by the.
You really want me to think about building something more? No. No, we can look at it.
You'd be on the other side of the riprap there, that would be the only problem, once you build a walkway across the riprap or something like that.
You can't build anything in front of the spillway itself.
Okay, well, I guess that would be.
Yeah,
There's
the concrete spillway itself, no.
There's also, aren't there porta johns over at the beach?
Yes.
Which is like an alternative. Maybe you have to
And the
kind of-
North Dock has one too.
But what's nice about the beach, you have those built-in docks that are there.
Not North Beach.
Beach.
Not at North Park, there is.
No, the beach.
North Dock.
The beach.
Yeah, there's one at the beach.
Right, there's the beach and there's also some docks that are built in there. That's
Yeah.
nice.
We'll look at it, Eric.
It just seemed like that was an open area. Okay.
Any other questions for Jim?
No, I'll tell you what, I did want to make a comment, and that is, I received a very interesting email blast, and that is about cleaning up the boneyard. Thank you. Thanks for doing that, because there is sort of a catch-all of a lot of stuff over there. It looks a little Barnum and Bailey sometimes, and there are things that will never, ever see the light of day on the water. So thanks for doing that, because honestly, it's just a haven for critters that are living out of those.
It's a boneyard for a reason.
Yeah, but thanks for taking this step and doing that. I appreciate that. I'm sure everybody, all the members will as well, once you get it cleaned up. Thanks.
Any questions for Jim from the audience? Okay. Randy, General Manager's report.
Okay, thank you, sir. I wanted to go over the delinquency totals. They've changed a little bit from last month. As of last month, the regular assessments were at $50,795. They've increased this month to $57,562. For two reasons, we had several more people go onto the 60-day list. And then we had one possible bankruptcy that was turned down, so he went back onto the delinquency list instead of being separated as a bankruptcy. So that's why that went up the way it did. As you can see, the roads went down like $100, and that was also because of that bankruptcy. And so that's why the difference in those are the way they are. But actually the delinquencies are still looking relatively good. The people that are on the list this time, as far as the 60-day list, are folks that's been on there before, and I've been able to get them to pay, so I think that'll probably go away relatively quickly. Dam assessment total as of yesterday, I believe, is $287,976. Dollars in our account. So I'd let everybody know that we're doing well with that. Also, I wanted to bring up not everybody, but a lot of people would like to know about the dock waiting list. The dock waiting list is something that we monitor this time of year, and there's a lot that is involved with that. There's actually only 4 people left on the list, waiting list. However, there's 3 that want to move to A dock, who already have a dock. There's 5 that want to move to North Dock, they already have a dock. There's 1 that wants to move elsewhere and hasn't let us know where elsewhere is. There's 1 that wants to move to other side of the dock or on the end. 1 that wants to move closer to the shore, but not against the shore. 1 wants to move so they are not next to a pontoon boat. 3 have accepted dock offers and are in the process of obtaining and registering boats. And 1 has been offered a dock and has till 5/17, which is, I believe, tomorrow, to reply. So the waiting list gets a lot of conversation, but it's a lot of work keeping up with this and trying to keep everybody as happy as we can. But thought I'd let you know that actually there's only 4 folks that are on the list waiting for a dock. The other people are just wanting to move.
And then you want to move Buckeye Lake?
We don't ask that question, believe me. It's too much of a touchy subject, believe me. Let's see. We are planning with, because of the split rail fence that we put on the parking lot, in front of the parking lot, between the parking lot and the playground down in front looks so nice. We're planning on putting it on the other side of the parking lot as well, just to keep big vehicles out of the grass over there. And it basically, it really looks nice and it'll look nice. We've already have it delivered, we just haven't got it installed yet. Pool is up and ready for inspection, which is scheduled for next week. This is probably the earliest we've been able to get the pool up and ready to go because we've had really good weather. And it will open Memorial Day weekend for full time because in the past we've shut down after Memorial Day weekend because the kids weren't out of school this year. I think this year everybody will be ready, so we'll open it full time. Hopefully we'll have decent weather for that time. Also, we've got new pool furniture ordered. We're not replacing everything. We're doing that in bits and pieces. So I think we ordered 6 new umbrellas, 6 new loungers, and I think 8 new chairs because the strap models, they're looking pretty bad. Also, it came up before about the goose permit, that we need to do more to reduce the population of geese. And it was brought up that we may be able to get a year's permit instead of one that just lasts till August 31st. So I've been in contact with the Federal Department of Wildlife and the Ohio State Department of Wildlife, and we were able to get the goose permit combined with our buzzard permit. So we'll only pay 1 fee, it'll be once a year, and we can renew it every year. And Paul Heimberger is our avid hunter who is helping us decrease the limit, or decrease the population of our geese. We can take up to 30 geese a year. So that's a good thing, and we'll be working on that. The one other thing I wanted to let you know is we are planning to do Motopave again this year. We're going to continue on from Coosa down to somewhere in the vicinity of the guard shack, probably not quite to the guard shack, but at least to the bottom of the hill. And so it's not going to cost as much as it did last year. I mean, it's going to cost the same per foot, but we're not going as far. We're going to save a little bit more for chip and seal because our roads need some of the roads didn't get chip and sealed last year, so we're going to do that. And so I think everybody is really happy with the way the outcome of the Motopave. So we're going to try to keep doing that a little bit every year. And that's all I have, sir.
Questions for Randy?
Would it not be a good idea, going back to Greg's safety, to put an e-blast out stating how dangerous kids hanging their feet over, and then at the same time, if I put an attachment with all the boat rules.
Hanging over what?
Over the edge of the boat.
Oh.
Because, a lot of people won't listen to this or they won't read the minutes. And if you put that e-blast out, it just really gets to a ton of people. And
That's a good idea. Okay.
I put just stressing how dangerous it is.
Okay.
Any others?
Can I ask, maybe this is maybe for both of you, but how are things going with our brewing process? It seems like we've been out of lager for a good 2 weeks now.
I asked that question the day off, I'll let you know. The problem in the past has been just the amount of room that we've had, and that, as you and I have talked, I don't know the answer for you, but I will get back to you. We had our meeting, earlier this evening with food services, and I did not get back to Gerard, but I'll catch up with him tomorrow morning.
I know he did brew lager, so I don't know if he's caked any of it, but it's probably just about ready to cake.
There have been some supply issues, as you know.
Okay.
And we need to stop that. I don't know if there's a particular reason. I'll find out.
Great.
Randy, I did have a question. What will be the schedule for security on the lake?
Good question. Similar to what it was 3 years ago. Yeah. We did Friday afternoons.
Touche.
Yeah, we did Friday afternoons, all day Saturdays, and Sunday mornings. That's the way we did it. Time was, I think, Fridays, I think it was noon, noon to 4 or something like that.
Yeah, it was.
And then it was like till 8 on Saturdays, and then, I think it was Sunday mornings. I have those numbers, but I don't have one.
Okay.
It'll be 3 days,
Does that start pretty soon?
Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
right, yeah. And it'll go through Labor Day, and plus holiday.
Is it a dedicated officer, or is it just,
We're not sure yet.
comes up? Okay.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
not
so you're
sure
working.
yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any others? Anything from the floor? Okay, moving on to committee reports. The first thing on the list is that ACC Chair Al Kalis is resigning as of July 1. He asked that we vote on it tonight, and they're going to be not weekenders, but they're going to have 2 houses, and it's going to be kind of hard for them. So anyway, I'd like somebody to make a motion to accept Mr. Kalis's recommendation, or resignation, excuse me. That's Dale Young, and second. Eric Lapp. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is passed. Al does not have a name for a new chair, but he says he thinks he will have one by July 1. And then also, that was smart, Gregory, I wrote new ACC member, and I didn't write down who it is.
Dennis Aubrey.
Thank you. Dennis Aubrey, a relatively new member, Idaho Hill, been here about a year. Very bright individual and getting involved. He's, in addition to that, he's putting on a knife sharpening event at the lodge. And and people who are into their knives and hunters and whatever, when he mentioned it to me, I said, what? And other people said, Greg, you don't know what you're talking about. I've been told that before. Anyway, I'd like a motion to approve Dennis Aubrey as a new member of the ACC as of July 1. Linda Lonsinger moved. Second. By Ginger Reed, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. We also need to reaffirm the members of the management committee. We're supposed to do it every year. Actually, we do 2 1 year and 3 the next year. We really should have done this in January, but they're still around. So I would like a motion to reaffirm Chaz Cross, Jim McNabb, and Jim Sikafus as members of the management committee.
I'll make that.
That's Mr. Patrick Foy, second by Linda Lonsinger. Any opposed? Motion is passed. And the last thing is that Ginger and I have been talking, and we are proposing a committee chair reception meeting. 2 reasons. One, there are several things we'd like to talk about with the committee chairs. One is the calendar, how to use it, how they can use it, really take advantage of it. Another is where long-range planning is going to be working ahead of time, and we'll try to get a report out so that the committees, when they come into the amenity fund process, say, no, here are what the priorities are for Hideaway Hills from long-range planning. And ask them to consider that when they're thinking of their things. And the past few years it's been, here's a pot of money, let's get our share. We're trying to say, come on, let's talk about Hideaway Hills in general, and just trying to get their input. And then just a couple other things, probably a relatively short meeting and then a reception. And we also have Scarlett Kitts, who's a new member, as a catering business outside of the hills. Gerard has agreed to let her host it for hors d'oeuvres on a one-time basis because it's an outsider, but he's working with her. And it lets us expose a new member. She would like to do catering in the hills. It's not necessarily competitive to Gerard. He's okay with it. So that's how we're going to take care of the hors d'oeuvres. And we hope they buy some drinks while they're here. So, and we would like to propose that for, come on, Ginger.
I know, I didn't know you were gonna.
Thursday in June.
Thursday, June 15th, is that it?
June 15th, that's right. It's a Thursday at 6 p.m.
Where,
in the great room.
down here?
Down here, in the great room. And I'm saying Ginger's making that motion. Am I correct?
Yes, I will.
I'll second that.
And Patrick Foy
It's
seconds.
at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
These are called calendars.
And it's for your, it's for your spouse also.
So, yeah, committee chairs, significant other, our guests, whatever. Board members and management committee members are also invited.
Craig, I think it's a great idea. I really do.
Okay, well, we'll see if it works. And we hope it does. All right, now, going around.
Favor?
Oh, thank you. Ginger made the motion. It was seconded by Patrick. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
And the one before that, Staining Amphitheater steps.
Yeah.
It's on our list.
Social request.
Social
Oh,
request
thank you.
to drop out. It looks like almost. Should we
Well,
approve it?
no,
Yes.
I believe that's overtaken by.
It is done, but the board technically has to approve it because we're using the overflow funds from the amenity fund. And we talked to the chair of the long-range planning. He has no objection. And then there's the former chair. And because social, their volunteers are so darn busy right now, and that was a big project. And we also have ample funds in that overrun, actually a little bit more than we normally have. So it's $600 to have had Vandy do it. So may I have a motion to do that?
Make it.
Patrick Foy
Second.
and Linda Lonsinger, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you for keeping me on the list. With that, we'll go around the room. Dale, what do you have tonight in terms of fund requests?
I have no funds request, but the Pony Palooza did a very fine job Saturday. We took in $916.30,
Okay,
and it was absolutely crowded. And I thank the guys for doing the mowing and all the cleanup of the arena. Still need a little gravel coming off that hill because I almost went sliding down there, and I wouldn't have been able to make the hot dogs, but I got through it. Turned out wonderful. That's all I have for that. Then we have a shooting range meeting this Thursday at 7 p.m. down here. Everybody's welcome to come if you want to play with your guns.
not down here though.
I don't care.
That's okay. Thanks, Dale. All right, Tom?
I've got several. I'd like to make a motion to pay Sherry Panacea $115.58 for supplies for the workday and the member guest.
I'll second.
I've got another one.
Hold on, you want to do them one at a time, or are they all related to the member guests?
No.
All right, let's do them one at a time. All right, so motion by Tom to pay Sherry Panacea $115.58 for supplies related to the member guest. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, go.
Who seconded that?
Patrick did. Sorry.
I'd like to make a motion to pay John Jones $122.36 for electrical supplies for the hallway and the restrooms.
All right, motion by Tom to pay John Jones $122.36, that's out of Second Century Funds, for electrical supplies on the hallway at the courthouse. Need a second?
Second.
Eric Lapp, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried.
Another one for golf, make a motion to pay Terry Baker $9.50 for caulk for the signboard.
All right, Tom's making a motion to pay Terry Baker $9.58 for caulk for the signboard. Second by Linda Lansinger, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Was it 50 or 50?
$9.58.
$9.50.
$9.50, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ginger. Sharp ears.
Treasurer's trying to keep up.
All right, so any opposed? Hearing none, motion passed.
Another one for golf, payable to Highwood Hills Clubhouse, $107.14 for drinks for the Dick Panacea Memorial Tournament.
I'll second.
All right, got a motion and a second to pay Hideaway Hills Clubhouse $107.14 for refreshments connected with the Nick Panacea Memorial from Golf Committee funds.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion's passed.
Another one for golf, $727.24 payable to Karen McNabb for flowers, lunch supplies, painting supplies, balloons for memorial, and to rent an excavator on workday for golf.
Second.
Thank you, Eric. Second, motion by Tom Matthews, seconded by Eric Lapp to pay Karen McNabb $727.24 for flowers, supplies, and an excavator for things related to the just golf committee in general.
Workday.
To this work, yes, to the workday. Thank you. Any, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion is passed.
One for tennis, I'd like to make a motion to pay Dave Rowe $49.25 for windscreen ties.
Motion by Dave, second by Dale Young. To pay Dave Rowe, I said a motion by Dave, a motion by Tom Matthews, second by Dale Young, to pay Dave Rowe $49.25 for windscreen ties from the tennis committee funds. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is passed.
That's it.
I think that's a record.
That's a lot.
We've done an e-vote, but the one you said you wanted to wait.
Yeah,
A bunch of-
after Thursday, you know, I just didn't do them here rather than e-vote them. If you guys would rather e-vote them, I mean, you know, there'll be a bunch of e-votes coming around. We all get enough emails, so.
Must have been some nice flowers to get it back out.
Trees.
Oh.
Okay, Linda.
Well, Jim already brought up, about the ORV committee and the, need for the dirt and the, reconstitution of the track over
I
there.
apologize for taking.
No, that's all right, you just stole my thunder, I didn't know that. So, well, I don't have anything to say about ORV. And then, you also brought up that, there will be a meeting on the 27th at 9 AM at Shelter House, another youth safety, meeting. Lakes, I know that, they wanted to say thank you to all of the volunteers for the boat launch. And, I don't know, when's the, tadpole?
It's June 17th, Father's Day weekend.
Yeah.
The Saturday of Father's Day.
Just a reminder about that. And nothing else.
Okay. No fun here, boy. Hillary.
I have requests and to keep the stress level down. You don't need to write them down, they're here.
Wow.
Yeah, and so here we go. This is for chapel committee, and what I'd like to do is, you may recall last year, we decided to get the checks ready, get everything organized, get everything okay to pay for the next month. So this will be for the month of June, for the services in the month of June. So I'll go ahead and, these will be part of the minutes, of course, but,
You can
what I'd
make
like
these
to
all
do is
with
just
one
make
motion.
one motion, okay?
Yeah, they're-
I move that we approve for the June 4th service to pay Matt Elliott for the service, $125, Eric Johnston, $100, and Lydia Sander, $100. For the June 11th service, Rick Velardo, $125, Lydia Sander, $100. For June 18th service, Doug Warburton, $125, Lydia Sander, $100. For the June 25th service, John Buckles, $125, Diane Garlinger, $100, and Lydia Sander, $100. And of course, we have all the details, so I move that we approve those.
I second.
Motion by Valerie, second by Ginger for the items she just read. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion's approved.
I'm good.
You finished your, very good.
Nothing from me.
Ginger, okay. Patrick?
No requests,
This is easier.
anyone to get paid back. Long range planning, I did not have a meeting this month, so there's really no report. I did want to mention that on Food Fellowship, if anybody's had an opportunity to see the bling these guys have, whether they're can koozies, whether they're shirts, whether they're pants, tennis shoes, I mean, they have just branded up so many things here for Hideaway Hills, and they're available for sale, and I like the variety, and I just have to applaud those guys for, obviously it's a fundraiser, but at the same time, they've come up with a really nice variety, and to me, I think it's just a great way that they're doing it. And then, also, I wanted to recognize some people we probably don't know about. There's a guy named Scott Williams at about 1749. He took it upon himself to approach Carter at Adopt an Area and said, I want to paint the front sign. So I went to Randy and we got the paint from Rick. And he's down there with Carter, probably him more than Carter, painting that sign. And it was probably about 112 degrees down there today, but he's getting it done. It looks great, and it's all volunteer. Saturday, a bunch of people showed up to stain the beginning of the front fences, and some of these guys, Hartley Corson, Dennis Schreiberdecker, Kathy Blankenship, Dave Schrute, Dave Wolf, all came out and did the sexy thing of staining fences. So I applaud them. And then some guys that you can always count on, man, is Linda Mountjoy and Vicki Gay and Carter going Friday to get plants to spruce up the front area. So, they're kind of the silent guys out there doing that, but I applaud them. And that's it. That's all I have today.
Okay, very good. Eric?
I'd like to make a motion for the new member committee to reimburse Lance Old's post for signs for $22.79 and Karen McNabb for totes for $47.96.
What was that, 40, for Karen?
$47.96.
Okay.
All right. Eric's made a motion to reimburse Lance Olds for posts for the lot number signs, $22.79, and to Karen McNabb for totes, $47.96 from new member committee funds. In a second? Dale Young, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, are we on tap for the new member reception on the 27th?
Yeah, it's understanding this report.
Very good.
Eric is home.
Yeah, I knew that.
I talked to him the other day, he's doing okay.
Good. Again, all right, yeah. I guess we've gone around. Very good. I'd say one thing on committees. I want to thank you guys because you must have gotten the word out. We have 3 pages of committee reports plus a couple that Patrick brought in, and I know it's a busy time. Committees are doing things, But it's nice to have the written report so we can keep abreast of it. All right, with that, Jim, can you bring me up the sign-in sheet and we'll move to the open forum. We'll recess the meeting now. And if there's any guests who want to speak, we'll let them do so.
Yeah, I got one.
Okay, good. Okay, the first is Ellie Muller.
Hi, my name's Ally Mulhern and I am at 2125. And since we have been refrained from speaking regarding the sale of lots 2122 and 2123, I would like to ask in what forum we can address this.
We can address it right now. I mean, you're not being refrained. I was just saying it's not on the agenda.
Okay, so I am allowed to speak.
Sure.
Great.
2122, 2123.
Yep. In 2004, we purchased lots 21, 24, 21, 25. At the time of building our home in 2006, we inquired about purchasing lots 21, 24, and 21, 23. Our goal was to remain secluded in our little corner of Hideaway. We were informed at that time by General Manager Jim Palmer that lot 21, 23 would never be sold because it held the easement to Ski Lake. We have checked on availability several times with Mr. Yates and Mr. Sweatman, the last time being in July of last year. We were told again, never be sold. It has the easement to Ski Lake. We, however, were able to purchase lot 2124. Living in a cul-de-sac, we really try to be aware of who's down in the circle, and we've noticed some car activity down there on more than one occasion. My husband had went down, ran into I'm sorry, is it Patassin? Okay, close enough, okay. And found out that he had someone down there with a builder and an excavator that was interested in the lots. John contacted Mr. Foy and asked about it. He was unaware of anything regarding the sale of lot 22 or 23. Mr. Foy got back to John and basically said that you had a friend that was interested in the purchase of that lot, and that we shouldn't worry about it because they were going to build a beautiful home. These events lead me to the following questions. I question if the code of regulations was followed. Was the information to sell club lots 21, 22, and 21, 23 voted on by the board? Per Article 5, Section 7, under B2, a board responsibility is to consider the sale or purchase of property. I want to know how that information was shared with the board via email or executive meeting. I request meeting minutes, email voting information. I am aware that in the echo that Mr. Sweatman had stated that he had showed the lots and the people brought back a builder and excavator. Nowhere is it in the club rules that a board member as an individual or the general manager can determine the sale of the property. As owners of adjoining lots, we question why we weren't afforded the opportunity or the courtesy to buy these lots, especially since we've inquired in the past. I also ask, is it standard procedure to share new information with non-members before the membership? And why has that information only be shared with your friend, as it does not appear on the Hideaway website for lots for sale? Shouldn't the realtors have that information also? And have these potential buyers already submitted floor plans to the ACC that you know that it's going to be a beautiful home? Is this already a done deal? And it's anyone on the board researched why these lots were not for sale in the past, based on a plat map that I picked up Monday at the courthouse. 1/4 of Ski Lake resides on that lot. I also noticed that you have on the agenda to talk about an easement for 21-23. I'm sure that's what the correction is. Again, code of regulations, you can't sell a property until some of the things have been done. So we ask at this time that all bids in the sale of that property be suspended until our questions are answered and the code of regulations followed.
Okay. The easement is on lot 1223.
21-23.
Wyandotte Lane. Is that the easements that you're
That is
talking
not
about?
the easement we're talking about. You can listen, you can
Okay.
stay for the balance of the meeting and find that out.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine.
Also, I have no idea what kind of house they're gonna build. Patrick, how did you find out it's gonna be a beautiful house?
Ally, I received a phone call from John. I don't believe I ever commented on a house because I really was not aware of anything being built. John, I don't remember saying that to you,
Yes, sir, you did.
that it was going to be a beautiful house.
They're gonna build a beautiful home there. She is, got trouble with her legs. They need a single floor.
John, I didn't even know who these people are.
And you didn't know the lots were for sale either.
Well, when John called me, I believe that I directed John to call the general manager. Did I not?
You said you would do some research into these.
Right, and then I called you back.
Yes, sir.
And I instructed you that it would be in your best interest to call the general manager.
Yes, sir.
Which we did, and now we're in a bidding war.
I understand. I received a phone call from a member. I inquired and I directed that member to talk to the general manager. At no point in time did I comment on the house because honestly, I had no idea about that house. Now, I do know that the day that that house property was being shown, that you came out and you spoke to them.
Yes, sir.
I don't know at that point in time if that's where conversations came up about that house, but until you called me, John, I never knew anything about that house. And as God is my witness, and I have no reason to fib, I did not make that comment.
Okay, Patrick, there's a lot of misinformation going about.
Well, let me just finish.
Well,
but I did instruct you to talk to Randy, and you said, you know what, I might want to take a bid and go bid on that. And that was
the extent of our conversation.
That was the extent of our conversation.
And then
Okay.
I spoke to Mr. Sweatman.
Okay, good.
Well, then you can't say make a bid.
Sure you can. Yeah. All right, there's been a lot of misinformation. Yes, I happen to know that the people who are doing they're making an offer on the lots. They have been looking at houses in Hideaway Hills as well, and they've looked at many lots in Hideaway Hills. I know them from church, okay? I did not know the lady had a problem walking. I've never seen that. Not what you're saying. I know that, and you also said, I have no idea what kind of house they're gonna build.
Okay.
All right,
Yes.
and one last thing, the implication is I'm doing something for a friend. Randy, would you please explain how I came about showing those lots?
Because I couldn't be here. I showed the lots to them 2 times before that, and they were wanting to bring their excavator down. He was going to come in when I couldn't be here, so I asked Greg, since he knew them, to please take them down there and show them, because they have to be accompanied by a member.
Has this board ever voted on selling those lots?
I don't believe they have.
Then you have broken the code of regulations.
No, Ally, we will
I have a
vote
question.
on the sale. We will vote on the sale.
You can't do it after the fact. It's null and
I have
void.
a-
Even the code of regulations state that.
Randy, may I ask, are the lots sold?
No, we are in a bidding war.
Yes.
Something that we should have been afforded the opportunity.
The one thing that I wanted to further check on, and I'll do it after this meeting, is you said you called Randy and asked if they were for sale last June.
In July.
Or in July.
Because
July.
at that time, we bought 21, 24. So we wanted to buy 24 and 23, and again, we're told, not gonna be sold, it has the easement.
Make a bid on 24.
Maybe 24, and we did. And that purchase was completed. In fact, I have the paperwork. August 3rd was when I got the thing back that the transfer was done.
All right. That could be, and I don't understand that. We'll try to find out about that. We'll get back to you. Now, as far as the other situation, that's your interpretation of the code. We'll take a look at it. I don't think that's the case. The standard practice is the board votes on a sale before it is accepted, but we wait until we have an offer and then we vote on it. And the management committee is the committee that normally has the list of what lots are for sale.
And what about moving an easement? Is the code of regulations being followed on that?
We are not talking about that easement.
Well, there's still an easement over there.
Okay.
It's not been finalized. What can be done about it?
I don't understand your question.
An easement where,
Chusky Lake,
for what lot?
2123. You wanna
We have
pass
lots
these
that people
down?
own that have easements across them. We were looking at one today where they have an electrical easement on their lot.
Okay.
And it's still there, and the power company, I asked, I said, how do they get in here? He says, right down there. It's right across his lot.
So, again, Code of Regulations states that for an easement to be changed, which Randy in email has told us would be changed to access from behind the barn down across 22 and over to 23, and they get to access the dam, which based on the map, and sorry, my printer ran out of colored ink, part of that lot is right into the lake, and that lot owns the dam. That is a map that I picked up on Monday. Again, I don't think any research has been done. I don't think we were given the courtesy, if the easement could be, we don't want to build on that lot. We have said for years, we wanted to keep it secluded. We paid the assessments, we paid the property tax, and it saves Hideaway Hills money. It's a win-win, we stay secluded. Now all of a sudden, the easement can be changed. The lot's for sale, it's not on the website, nobody else knows about it. I mean, again, it's not being handled properly, and I want the board to address that. And at the meantime, stop the sale until everything is addressed. Suspend the sale.
The board will address it, and I'll try to find out what happened last July.
Line 3.
Okay, that's all I can do. All right. John, you have your name, yes?
No,
No, go
I
ahead.
thought you might cut her off after 3 minutes, and there was, yeah, it's just, again, a concern. I'm sorry. John Mulhern, 2125. I also would like to add my concern to this. Randy, I'm sorry, but you're famous. If we don't submit something to you in writing, it didn't happen. I mean, you're notorious for it, which endears you to us all.
Come on, John, let's not take.
No, I mean, it's not a cut or anything, but.
That's an accusation, John.
Oh,
Yes.
I apologize. I don't mean to be accusing you of anything, but we have conversations. 2123 is the access. As Ally pointed out, I'm not gonna rehash what she did.
Thank you.
But, I mean, I'll just add my concern. Randy, I apologize. I wasn't meaning to attack you. We've had conversations. You've said stuff to me. I've said stuff to you, and you frequently say, put it in writing. The stuff that you answer questions back and forth with me, I mean, they're answered. There's no need to put those in writing. I'm sorry, and maybe I'm wrong about that, but.
John, I have one question for you.
Yes,
Do
sir.
I get an apology for the misinformation that has been passed around the clubhouse about my showing favoritism to my friends, which I have not done?
If you have not done, I apologize. But, yeah, I would like to know, I will reiterate, why is it only the one person being shown this lot? Why is it not advertised? Why is the community not aware that this lot is now for sale?
Why weren't we afforded the opportunity? And the bid now is 3 times what the lot value
I
is.
said I'm gonna check into that.
Yeah, we're up to $33,000 for these 2 lots.
Which is ridiculous.
Thank
Yes.
you.
And now we'd like to split the lot for 21, 22, and 23, because the other adjoiner would like to buy 22 and we'll take 23.
All right, well, you can handle that directly with Randy. Anybody else want to speak? No, more.
I didn't know there was a sign in, but I would like to say something in regards to this.
Sure, come on.
So I'm Jerry McKee from 2120, and I also own 2121. So 2122 adjoins my property.
2120.
I mean, for the life of me, I would like to just know how these prospective buyers even knew that these lots were available or out there.
Randy, would you answer?
Sure. I have been selling or attempting to sell lots for quite a few years now. I had these folks come in. I showed them the lots we had for sale, and not including 2122 and 2123. And then I told them that,
What does that mean? Not including 21?
Not including 2122 and 2123 because they weren't on the list.
Right.
But I did tell them, well, I have 2 other lots that's a possibility that we may put up for sale.
Was that
Simply because we don't have that many lots left that are sellable lots.
Was it discussed that those lots were going to be put up for sale?
It was discussed at the management committee meeting, and Randy had done a survey of all the lots in Hideaway Hills and found there were, I can't remember the number, at least 3 or 4 that we weren't aware that we could sell.
When was that?
And so that would have been
Several months ago.
several months ago.
Several
And
months
those
ago.
were added in the management committee on the list of lots that were going to be sold, which is the normal way it's always been done. Management kind of controls that. The board doesn't act until there's an offer.
Right.
And then they decide.
Several months ago, but yet the posted revised list on 3/17 of 2017, just 2 months ago, does not include those lots.
That doesn't include several others either.
Okay, so if those lots are for sale, or going to become for sale, then I would like to purchase the 1 lot at the rate stated right here, 1 lot, $7,500. And to have to bid or get drug into a bidding war is not consistent with what is posted. And as a matter of fact, I mean, it says 2 lots, $10,000, so why anyone is having to bid up to $33,000? I mean, this is our home. These are where we live. These are the houses that we build and develop and love in Hideaway Hills. And why in the world any member has to get drug into a bidding war?
With a non-member.
That's beyond me. So, right here, publicly and on record, if those lots are for sale, I would like to purchase both of them, unless the Mulherns want the one next to them.
23.
For the amount that is listed on the proposed revised list, and we do not expect to have to get into a bidding war with people. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else like to speak tonight?
I would like
Alan,
to leave.
you
I just don't leave papers, so my questions were listed here in case
Very
it's
good.
not part of the minutes. On
Okay,
your checks.
back into the regular session. Under new business. Reaffirm the, I got leave spaces. Jim gave me a form and I collapsed it and don't have spaces. So we have to reaffirm the e-votes. There was no unfinished business. Okay, you all got a copy of these, and what I've got is the ones that were all 8-0, and I will do those as a group and go through them. All these were approved 8-0. And the first was an e-vote to approve a blood drive in the Great Room on Tuesday, May 30th from 2 to 7. An e-vote to approve $2,121.94 from the Second Century Club for exterior blinds for the clubhouse, check payable to Budget Blinds. On the 25th of April, e-vote to approve a down payment of $728.57 for a repair of stained glass window golfer at the clubhouse from the Second Century Funds. On the 26th, an e-vote to approve the sale of lots 1088 and 1089 Crow Court for $9,500. An e-vote on the 28th to reimburse Steve Cundiff $6.37 for keys, $66.97 for lead hand wipes, and $271.44 $4 for shooting supplies for a total of $344.78. On the 30th of April, on e-vote to approve a check to Aries Sportswear for the social committee funds for t-shirts. On the 30th, an e-vote to approve no more than $120 from social committee funds per concert, per concert for sponsored banners, for each concert. And then on the 2nd of May, an e-vote to approve $100 from Lakes Committee to sponsor the member guest tournament. On the 8th of May, an e-vote to approve social to sponsor a hole for member guests, transferring $100 from the social committee funds to golf. On the 8th, an e-vote to approve Sherry Panacea getting paid $152.43 for mailing labels for the member guest and for teacup items from golf committee funds. All those were approved 8-0, and I have a motion to reaffirm those e-votes.
So moved.
Dale Young,
Second.
second by Patrick Foy, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
He didn't say anything.
Who didn't say anything?
Patrick.
It was Eric, but that's. Here's that.
Patrick, do you second that?
I'll second.
Any opposed?
I'll second it, I'm sorry.
Hearing none, that's reaffirmed, okay.
You need a second.
The last three were approved 7-0 because somebody didn't get back. Or either that or I missed it, so if you want to chime in and change your vote, you always can during this session. The first on the 26th was an e-vote to have a split rail fence painting day on Saturday, May 13th, with a rain date of June 3rd. On the 29th, an e-vote to approve $530.24 payable to Dave Rowe for 2 nets and a case of balls for the tennis committee. And then on the 9th, an e-vote to approve the following from social committee funds: Noah Weatherspoon, $800, $128.10 to Taylor Rentals for the auction, $496.06 to Personal Touch Rentals for the Phil Dirt concert, $453.69 to Taylor Rentals for the Pop Gun concert, $453.69 to Taylor Reynolds for the McGuffey Lane concert. All those were approved 7-0. Can I have a motion to reaffirm them?
Eric's making that motion.
I made that motion.
Eric left, thank you.
Straight.
Can I have a second from this side of the table? Second by Tom Matthews. All approved?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the reaffirms are reaffirmed. Okay, now, I think we're in the new business, am I correct? Yes, sir. A couple board members wanted to discuss the alternative votes on Lake of the Four Seasons, and Sue graciously sent out an email to clarify some things. And what we're talking about are things like picnic tables with motors on, and all kinds of things. And we can make a new rule. We got enough rules. And in fact, I was in a meeting this afternoon, and 2 people sitting in this room who don't know it yet are going to be asked to review the rules to see how we can condense and get rid of some rules we don't need. They both figured it out quickly. Mr. Krause and Mr. Lloyd. But the first rule on voting basically says we have to approve the vote that goes in Lake of the Four Seasons. It's got to get a sticker. All I'm saying is we only approve things and put stickers on things that look like a boat and run like a boat. And why write a new rule? It's just kind of common sense. If the board agrees that we want pontoon boats and ski boats on Lake of the Four Seasons, and that's what we want, and we don't want these other things, which there's all sorts of variations, I don't know that we need a rule, but that's my opinion. I'll let you guys have it now. Who wants to talk?
So if one of those was to show up, they would not be allowed on the lake only because they don't have a sticker.
That's right.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait a minute. Randy, are you okay with that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Randy's okay. All right, Sue, Lakes Committee Chair.
What if they don't, the picnic table floating with a motor on it doesn't adhere to ODNR rules, which we have to follow? We have to follow certain rules of that water with ODNR. And the floating picnic table with a motor on it, which I was asked if somebody could build and do, doesn't apply when you have to go get a registration from ODNR if you're going to build a boat. And they're thinking a real boat, not a picnic table boat, and it has to have a capacity plate. It has to be a certain size. It has to be okayed by them before you can get insurance and come here and show Brenda your insurance, and so you can get that registration sticker. So I think we're messing with some ODNR stuff that we're just not clear. Just because we get an ODNR, just because you get a registration sticker from Brenda, doesn't mean you're legal with, it should mean you're legal with the state of
We're saying
Ohio.
you wouldn't get one from Brenda.
That's what our point is.
Right.
That's the reverse. We're saying Brenda won't give it to you.
Without the insurance and without the
She won't
title.
give it to you if.
Okay, I didn't hear you say that.
Because it says pontoon, and what do we put for ski boats on the form?
V-Haul or.
V-Haul.
Something like that.
If it says picnic table, no sticker.
So what if they put the picnic table in with the motor, it'll be removed from the lake?
Yes.
It's not even gonna go in there.
It shouldn't go in because there's no sticker. But if it does, they're removed.
Okay. I just think, the Lakes Committee just wants to follow whatever ODNR says is the right rule, and our rules for registration, we're all for that.
And for the record, the Ohio Lakes Community lawyer has told us we can make rules for our lake. And that generally will be okay. Yes, ODNR can come in on top of us if they feel we are crazy.
Yeah, if we have onerous or something unsubstantiated, but for just sort of normal, that's why we can say only 24 feet long for pontoons. We're allowed to, we have proprietary sort of authorization of the lake. The laws and all those things are ODNRs, but they're willing to allow us to manage the lake in a reasonable fashion. So I think we're good.
But I do appreciate what you passed out this afternoon, an email, because that way we all had it before we got here. So, any board members want to look at a rule, or are we okay interpreting?
We sold our pontoons. I got a submarine to take out here, but we're gonna see what's.
But we won't see it.
You won't see it.
All right.
Is it
So
a
I
medieval
got another
submarine?
question. So on the docks, like Eric's dock and others, that is dealt with through ACC? The floating docks that go out and come back and attach to another dock, will that be handled by ACC?
But I think we were talking about Lake of Four Seasons.
Yeah.
In this case.
Yeah.
Well, still, we've got docks with motors on going out.
We have chosen not to rule on those. Although there are none on Lake of the Four Seasons, and anybody might want to try to put one of those on Lake of the Four Seasons would be risky drowning.
You know there's a swim dock, there's in a cove.
But that has no motor.
No motor, but it goes out and is anchored in the lake.
Well, if Lakes wants to bring that up again, you guys can. But
I'm saying, is that an ACC deal, not my deal, ACC deal?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
It's part of the flotation device rule.
Yeah, that one, yes, that is, and that one is, I think it comes under, that works on that rule. It's okay, and he's puts it out, but they're also bringing it in too, with the change. Okay, moving on. The easement for lots 1223 and 1224, you've got the information. Randy, you want to explain it?
Well, basically, it's the typical waiver of easement, waiver of a electrical easement, and the board basically says, okay, we're not going to enforce the deed restriction, which is it's for hiking and riding. And so this is a typical thing that we've done quite often. I just needed to get all the information, which we have the letter, we have the letter from the member, we have the request, or we have the easement release from South Central Power, recorded easement release from South Central Power. ACC has signed off on it. So I just need the board to approve it.
And
Zuni Lane.
Zuni Lane, yeah.
Right at where Zuni joins into Taos.
1223, 1224, these are the lots I sold earlier this year.
And what this means is that therefore a member can't ride on it, ride their horse on it now, or.
Well, the board, they can. The board is not gonna enforce the deed restriction, that's all it is. That's all it is, the board's not gonna enforce the deed restriction. Members can, they still can.
Members
It's the
still can.
board that's not gonna enforce it.
Explain that a little bit more.
Yeah.
So does that mean they can build their house across the easement?
They can, because South Central Power has released the easement, so they can build across it if they choose to. Now, we have done this on several others that we've released the easement. It's not that we've released the easement, we can't do that, because it's in the deed restriction. It's just that the board says that they're not gonna enforce that.
And they own both lots.
They own both lots, yeah.
So then they can join them together also, whereas before with the easement, they couldn't have joined the two.
Well, they can
together.
still, they can still.
Can
join.
they, even
Yeah,
with the easement?
yeah,
Okay.
And practically speaking, I don't think we've ever had a situation of people complaining that they couldn't ride their horse
Right.
between houses and all
Somebody
that.
else's lot.
Yeah, sure, they can. It's in the deed restrictions, which can't change.
We used to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just the board is not gonna enforce that.
All right, can I have a motion to approve the deed restriction?
Easement waiver.
Thank you, the easement waiver.
I'll make it.
Motion by Patrick,
A second.
second by Eric, and just because, if you guys make a motion, we still can debate it, doesn't mean you are voting for it by making a motion, so. Is there any discussion on it? Any other questions anybody want? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, we've granted the easement.
And I do have a question. Randy, then you're the one who takes care of this?
Yeah.
Part where it says board of trustees?
Well, it's just you
Do
guys
you
need to
need-
sign off on it.
Do you need Greg
Yeah.
to do this?
Just
Do you have an original of this?
No, I'm not just giving it to John.
Somewhere.
Okay, so as long as Greg does this, then we're done because you've got everything next up. Gotcha.
Do you want another copy of it?
Yeah.
You can have mine.
You'll know what we're talking about because you were at.
Yeah.
And that
Thank
same thing would have to happen if we do anything down there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, board.
Today's date.
18? So 16, 17, forward documents from board president. Okay. All right, don't have any other new business? So we have a fine appeal for lot 2013. Is there somebody here from lot 2013?
Yep.
Okay, do you want to come and address the board?
Sure. So my name is Dory McNeil, and we just moved in about a month ago. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you for the opportunity to explain and communicate what happened at our lot and what caused this action to occur. I also want to apologize if my dogs have annoyed any of my neighbors. We were out of town. We had just moved into 2014. And my husband were out of town for a couple weeks. We chose some people to hire to care for the dogs. And apparently they didn't follow all of my instructions. The dogs were adjusting to the new home and the surroundings. And what I think happened, I mean, I wasn't there, but I think we have a doggy door. And the door was shut and the dogs were left outside. So I have no idea how long they were barking and what all transpired. So I was also told this was not during the hours between 11 and 8, but again, I'm not sure how long they were outside. I am now home to monitor and care for the dogs. Most of the time the dogs are inside unless they're in our fenced yard. So I've also purchased a really cool dog silencer to help with the barking in and out of the home, which currently they're in training. As for the 2-dog rule, I guess somebody came by and said we had 4 dogs. We don't have 4 dogs, we have 3. So again, it is a violation. I'm currently caring for my oldest daughter's dog. She's been unable to care for her dog, in and out of hospital with severe spine and hip pain and pain disorder. Next surgery is the 24th at OSU. I can supply whatever records you may need for that. So I'm asking to please allow me to care for her dog for the next 3 to 6 months until I find somebody, make other arrangements. As a mother and nurse, watching your loved one suffer through this heart-wrenching pain, you can just imagine how I feel. Again, I can provide you with any documents you may need for this process. So with all that said, I don't see this being an issue in the future because I'm home, the dog door is set up. I probably will not let those folks care for my dogs again, and I just don't see it being an issue in the future.
All right, I'm correct, first of all, this is $25 fine. Okay. And in the letter that Mr. McNeil wrote us, he says, our dogs always bark when a car approaches the house.
Yes.
Can't be stopped.
In
And
the house.
barking from the inside of the house.
Right, they're
Now,
in the house.
I appreciate what you're saying about what happened, that you weren't there and the dog sitters didn't take care of it. But in this case, it affected not one neighbor, there was a party going on. And there were 5 couples there, all of which say the dogs were barking over a long period of time.
There was a
Sure
party
do know.
going on at the
Yes.
house?
No, not at your house, next door.
Oh.
One of the- one of your
I was like,
neighbors.
okay.
And it was, no, it's sort of, not a wild party, they were having a cookout on the porch, and they were listening to a dog barking for a long time.
And I understand.
And,
Until 11 p.m.
Until 11 p.m. So,
So wait, the dogs were barking until 11 p.m.? So,
barking over a 4-hour period.
so that is my exact, I think they were left outside unknown.
Okay,
The
but
door-
that is,
Yeah.
that's unfortunate, but you are responsible. But any board members want to ask a question?
I have a question. How many dogs do you have?
I have 2 and I'm caring for my daughter's dog.
Why don't we handle that separately?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just do the fine first, because there's a fine appeal.
2 dogs.
Been any other complaints since, the last one, Randy?
Pardon me?
Been any other complaints since this 414?
May I add one more thing? 2 years ago, while we were building our house, we were renting on Wolverine. I had both my dogs for a year and never a complaint.
So is the fine based on a one-time
Wait.
complaint? I just have a question. So is the fine based on one complaint or 2 complaints?
I believe it was 2 separate occasions because we were gone for those 2 weeks.
I understand. And I hope you'll understand the reason why there is a fine.
Well, I'm not worried about the fine, I'm more concerned about the violation.
I'd be concerned about my neighbors.
As
I
a
agree.
warning, well, and
Sure.
my neighbors, of course, and that
Right.
is what I addressed.
Because while you were on vacation, they unfortunately were still there.
Probably won't leave my dogs home anymore if I leave. They will probably be with a friend or boarded or with me.
Yep, I got you.
This has never been an issue in the past, anywhere I've lived.
Well, we live in a really close community. We live in a community where our neighbors are very close.
Well, we just moved from a home where we actually shared a fence between our neighbors.
That's 414.
For a year and a half, and never a complaint. So I just think that this was, well, they were watching the dogs and didn't follow my instructions.
Gotcha.
And they didn't answer the door, obviously.
And obviously, yeah, who knows where they were? We have 3 levels in that house. They were probably, they could have been downstairs or upstairs, and I don't even know if anybody was home. And again, I feel awful. It's really hard for me to get up here and say this stuff because I'm a people person, I'm a nurse, I love everybody, and I don't like confrontation.
All
So
right,
this is really-
first of all, you should not be embarrassed. This happens, several of us have dogs. We've got a collar on Sadie because she can tend to bark when a car is coming up the drive, and we got an electronic collar and she can bark. So it happens. Luckily, I hadn't gotten fined because nobody's reported. But
You're not pronouncing barking for 10 hours either.
But if we have to be careful with, changing fines because then everybody wants a change.
I
And
understand.
everybody's got a story. But I don't think you should be embarrassed about this. So I would say, anybody want to make a motion to rescind the fine?
I'll make a motion
To do what?
to rescind the fine.
All right, we've got Tom making a motion and Linda seconding. Any discussion?
Yeah, I want to discuss it. Rules are rules, I understand. I'm a big believer in supporting the neighbors, I'm a big believer in supporting security. And I'm sorry that happened. But at the same time, I do believe that it was a huge inconvenience to the neighbors. I'm not chastising you, I'm just saying, it's an inconvenience to the neighbors. I will not vote to rescind that, only because of the fact that I think there's been a lot going on here. And I think the $25 fine is just, it's appropriate, and I just hope it doesn't happen again. And I'm not trying to be holier than thou, but I don't agree.
I would ask that you mention security, you also should mention Randy.
I agree.
Support Randy, because Randy's the one who gets the issues these fines and get.
Follow all this stuff up.
Any other comments?
A coin has two sides, and looking at the flip side, if you were someone who had dogs and it was a continual problem, then I would be much more eager to not rescind the appeal. However, you had a different kind of circumstance. You trusted someone, they didn't do a good job. You recognize that. And yes, we did put our neighbors out, and that's not a good thing, but it's not a continual thing, and you know not to do it going forward. And so I don't know how we get back that quiet time for the neighbors. And if you know going forward that this is what you need to do, I would speak in favor of rescission.
I just see it as two different dates. Incident report went out on the 7th, incident report went out on the 14th. I'm all about being a good neighbor, I'm all about being a good board member, but I just believe that I can't go along with that, so.
Well, for clarification, were you gone on the 7th and the 14th?
I was gone the entire month. My
Okay.
husband came home 2 months, 2
gone
weeks
for-
prior.
She was gone during that whole period.
Okay,
yeah,
When
for
the
2
incident,
weeks.
when the incident happened, it happened again. I mean, I don't know why the incident happens once, something isn't fixed.
Well, she wasn't there
She
to
wasn't there to
address it.
fix it.
They didn't even call me, actually.
Well, then you're responsible for the people that are taking care of your animals.
I would add two other things. First of all, the member is responsible for what a guest does. And secondly, the first letter we got, the way I read it was dogs bark.
Last
Mr.
night I bring my
McNeil,
husband tonight.
he is not here. You should have brought him.
I knew better to leave him
Because
home.
then, well, he was the one who wrote it.
Well, that's
And that's
right.
kind of, we've heard that before, people, dogs bark, you gotta forget it.
They
Well,
do bark, but I realize that I have to, I'm the person in control of the dogs. So that's why I purchased the dog silencer, and, I mean, I've had these dogs since they were 8 weeks old. They're 9 years old.
But you're trying. And so-
I'm trying, but
Any
I've never
other-
had a problem with it before.
Anybody
so
else wanna
that
chime
was-
in? I'll-
Is, if there's another complaint, what's our, do they go to a higher level of fines?
Well, no, not if it's rescinded.
If it's rescinded, it does not. Right.
Yeah, you can rescind it with the, in other words, it's rescinded, but it's gonna be reenacted if anything happens within the next period, whatever period of time you want to do to.
Would that be, an addition to the motion then?
That, you'd
We have
have,
it.
and yeah, you'd have to make another motion on it.
No, we're in discussion.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be,
But in other words, you could say, okay, we're going to rescind the fine, but should there be another occurrence within 12 months, I don't care, then you will be charged this fine plus the fine for the third offense.
I think she's here, she's trying to make amends for what she's done, and I think I would be behind something like that, as long as there's a bigger penalty if it occurs again.
All right.
So, do I need to make a?
No, Tom made the motion, so,
Linda seconded.
Linda, thank you, Linda seconded. Tom, you can amend the motion, and then we vote on the amendment, and then we vote on the motion. Get it right.
All right, I make a motion to rescind the fine, and if it happens again, it's the next level. Is it
Within a
$50?
period of time, should put it in a period of
In a
time.
period of time.
within 30 days.
But Valerie, recap that. She was taking notes.
Better not, my dog will be food.
Somebody else, a motion, to rescind the fine, $25 for barking dog. And so that it doesn't happen again in 30 days, there will be an additional fine. Is that what you
The
said?
original fine will be reinstated and there will be an additional
Be $50.
And a graduated.
And I would second.
All right,
And Linda seconds.
Linda second. So we'll vote on that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Whoop, 2. So we got, how many we got here? We got, 7 here. 5 to 2? 5 to 2, okay. Very good. Now, we want to deal with the other issue of the third dog.
You gotta vote on that, on whether to approve it yet. You amended the motion, but you didn't vote on approving the motion. Amended motion.
You're really right on
I'm
that.
sorry.
I was gonna let
I
it
don't
slide
mean to-
by, Jim. That's
I don't mean to
okay.
step in there, but
Really, what we have to do is vote the first motion down.
then
We approved the second amended motion, which included everything.
you have to vote, are we accepting it? They all, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Patrick did not approve the amended motion, but it was approved. But you haven't voted on the amended motion to rescind the fine. with
I'm
that.
confused.
Yeah, Jim, we just approved the amended motion, which had all the language of the first one. I got a lawyer here. I mean,
It did have all the language of the first and more.
Thank you. So I think that amended motion has
It's
been.
fine. I don't
Yes,
care.
but now technically, if you're right, we should vote on the first motion that was on the floor, because we never did, okay?
No, but you don't have to, because during discussion, he amended it.
You're okay with it then? Okay.
But you still haven't voted on the amended motion. You just voted to amend it.
No, I'm sorry, this sounds crazy, Tom, but it's just a matter of.
I understand.
Okay, let's vote on the amended.
We're normally not that sticky, but we should. All right, so now,
All in favor?
the same, now we're gonna vote on the amended motion itself. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 2, so it's 5 to 2 on the amended motion.
I'm sorry, but I just thought it ought to be really done right.
That is right.
You are technically correct. All right, now, the lady is asking for a variance on the 3-pet rule based on the fact that there are more than 2 dogs and 2 pets in so many houses around here. I don't particularly have a problem with it.
I do.
Well, yeah, you do.
I'm trying.
Anybody want to take that as a motion or just,
Do we need to vote on it?
no, I would say no. It is,
It's okay, sit down.
you got a variance and it's for a
Take care
good
of your
purpose,
daughter's
okay?
dog.
But
You know
take care of
what?
your dog,
Thank you.
you got other issues.
Thank you.
But in all
She's really awful.
fairness, to your neighbors, they're the ones who are probably really good neighbors. I know these guys, I mean, we all know each other. I know how it can be, you know, with close quarters and with critters and things like that. So whatever you can do to try to keep the peace with your neighbors, I think that goes a long way too.
I'm a nurse. I love everybody. Like I said, this was really, really hard for me because this is not me. I don't like being in trouble. I like following the rules. So it's really out of my comfort zone. Big time.
Very good. Welcome to Hideaway Hill.
Oh, thank you.
Good job presenting it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, is there any other business to come before the board?
New members.
I know that, I'm going for any other new business. Okay. Then I'd ask the secretary if she has any new members.
We do, we have, new members, Dominic and Cynthia Massinelli, lots 5, 32, 33, and 34. Douglas and Linda Hall, lot 365.
I can get a motion by the secretary to approve those members. Can I have a second? Linda Lonsinger. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that is approved. Ask again, it's on the board. Any other new business, any other business? Because you're gonna say that's what was on the agenda, I know. Hearing none, I would accept a motion to adjourn. Well, no, Dale made it first. Yes, Patrick is seconding.
Short timer.
Short timer, that.
All right, we, all in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
We are, any opposed?
Oh, no.
We're adjourned. Okay. Okay. Yes, there is.
I need a copy of whatever she lays down.
Don't go away.
Am I done?
That's all, folks.
No, no.